Welcome back to Chow Time Pods. Your host, Red. I got videos today from manhood.
Whatever you do in your life, please do not be a girl boss. And take it from me as someone who was a former girl boss. So I graduated with a degree in electrical engineering from a top engineering program. I hustled so much in my early 20s because
I'll give it to her. Electrical engineering, shout outs to you. You are quite smart.
I was like, I want to make it. I want to reach the top of the corporate ladder. And it did work to a certain extent. Like, I worked at Spotify, I worked at Uber, and I worked at DoorDash as well. But in the process of being a girl boss, I kind of lost my sanity, and my physical health was going to the trash.
This is why men were so much better at this. Physically, we're built for it.
I developed PCOS as a result of not taking care of myself, and it took me almost a year and a half to kind of get rid of my symptoms. And I still kind of struggle with it from day to day. And now that I'm just like a stay-at-home girlfriend, I just work out whenever, I freelance, and I kind of live life on my own schedule. And also my quality of life is so much better because I have a man who has provider energy, actually cares for me.
Of course! It's the man that came and saved everything. I thought she was girl bossing it with all the savings or something. Nah. Man came and saved her.
He has a problem-solving mindset, and he's just a man. Like, it's so hard even nowadays to even come across men who are actually men because I don't know what happened in this, what they put in the water or something, but now these men are like acting like women and it doesn't make any sense. But yeah, just don't be a girl boss. Take it from me as a retired girl boss. It's not worth it.
Girl boss culture is now tradwife culture, in which they can now turn into a business in a different way. And then, after a decade, we will hear women whining about that too.
True.
I truly believe that feminism is the worst thing that's ever happened to society. And I say that with knowing the fact that I am very privileged to be able to vote and to contribute to the democracy that I live in. It literally ruined everything. It ruined everything. Because in the 1950s or 60s or whatever, you could support a family of 4, 5, 6, whatever, on one salary.
I mean, the greatest examples would be The Simpsons, Married with Children, Family Guy, and all these things. Like, yes, they're bad examples of men, but great examples that one income is able to support a whole house. A shoe salesman income was able to buy a 2-story house, support 2 kids, and a gold diggery wife that stayed home all day. Was actually not uncommon in those era.
You could have a house and a car and 2 cars and send your kids to school, and gas was 50 cents and all this other garbage. And now people have to have 2-income households, or single moms are barely getting by. Single parents are barely getting by. On top of that, I'm now expected to work, which is the most trash thing I've ever experienced in my entire life. Maybe I feel that way because I don't have like a big, strong career or whatever, and I'm just a server. I love my kids. I think going to work and having to be separate from them, especially my son, he's 9 weeks old now, and I have to go back to work because we need the money. We're financially screwed if I didn't, right? My theory on feminism is that it was started by actually like big corporations.
Yes, and super well-off, rich, white, liberal women.
And it was so that they could get more people in the workforce, and they could get more people to pay taxes, and so that the rich people could get richer. That's my theory on why feminism was actually started. Call me crazy.
Well, didn't women literally fought tooth and nail to work alongside men, to be able to afford everything for themselves on their own, only to cry about it all later?
Being a boss babe is the dumbest thing you could do as a girl. You were literally meant to live the dang soft life. I'm not saying you can't do the same thing as a man. I'm not saying you can't become a doctor or lawyer or anything like that, because God knows I have big plans for my life. If you're striving to just outwork a man just for the pure, simple pleasure of like, I'm better than you, the person that's winning is a man. Like,
yeah, pretty much.
You should never have to work to the point that man to stay at home while you work your booty off, birth kids, and on top of that, come home and have to dictate the household and wear the pants. Then girl, what are you doing? Like, you're literally missing out on the whole purpose of being a woman.
Why did nobody discuss all this 2 decades ago? Then, it was all about breaking free from the reins of men and
Well, 2 decades ago is, I don't need no man.
changing your own tires, holding your own groceries. This is definitely a full circle moment for women.
It's a terrible deal for us to, create feminism or talk about feminism under the umbrella of I can do everything all at once, boss babe.
Sure.
That is the worst end of the stick for women. How does that help us? It's toxic. It actually it gives us a terrible end of the deal. Like, I didn't sign up for this. I didn't sign up for someone telling me that you need to have it all together all the time, be a boss babe, get paid as much as men in the same industry while you're taking care of your 3 kids, while you're taking care of your husband, while you're handling your household. I don't want that pressure. The burnout is real. The feeling of not being able to handle doing everything, but having to show that I can handle everything because that's what boss babe culture is telling us. It's a lot. And I don't want to have to pretend. I don't want to have to fall under that narrative. I want to say that I'm going to try my best to do what I can while I'm not pregnant yet. But when I do get pregnant, something's going to have to take a back seat. So no, it is not I can do everything. It is I can do everything maybe, but in different phases of my life. My life comes in seasons.
Yeah.
Season 1 can be fully on me, independent. Season 2 will be my family comes first. And I don't want to feel like I have to compromise something so beautiful as family unit and partnership because I want to fall under this whole I can do it all together. No, you can't do it all together. Something's got to give.
It's nice that women are talking about it. They don't really talk about it that often, nor in mass, but it's good that they're talking about it. More women are, because they're not going to listen to men. They don't care about what we say. They think that we're just predators trying to manipulate them into doing things. And it's like, girl, we know what's going to be better for you because we've seen it throughout all of society and life. Family and kids. It's the end-all be-all for most living beings, especially humans.
It's either your guilt or your burnout or your relationship. The narrative has shifted completely.
Silent regret of the boss babe era. By 2030, nearly half of working women are going to be projected as unmarried and childless. Not because they failed, not because they're not capable, but because they followed the feminism plan that they were given. From the early 20s, many women were told the same thing. Focus on school, build a career, be independent. Relationships can wait, family can wait. You have time. We've all heard that, right? So they listened. They worked the longer hours. They delayed the dating. They passed on good men because now is just not the time. Maybe they put their relationships on hold because the success felt too urgent in the moment. Now, in your late 20s and early 30s, it works, right? You feel empowered, stable,
Sure,
validated, in total control. Psychology shows a shift that often happens in the late 30s, not because your ambition was wrong, not because success is bad, but because fulfillment does not follow the corporate timeline. That's when the realization hits you, and it hits you hard. I've been grinding since my early 20s. I did everything right. I have security. I'm financially stable. And I'm alone. And this is the part that doesn't really get talked about that much. Achievement gives dopamine, right?
Sure.
It's short term. It eventually fades, but connection creates meaning, and meaning lasts. And there's decades of research that show after basic financial stability, more money stops increasing long-term happiness.
Correct.
What does predict life satisfaction is close relationships, partnership, family, and a shared purpose. But biology doesn't negotiate with culture. Attachment does not wait forever, and men who want families don't pause their lives indefinitely. That's why this warning doesn't land at 30. The cost doesn't show up right away. It shows up later, and sometimes when it's too late. This is not anti-career. It is sure as hell not anti-independence, and I am not shaming women. I'm just telling the truth here, okay? You can build success. You can build wealth. You can build power. Just do not let anybody convince you that everything can be postponed without consequence, because that's not true.
Nope.
Some doors close to punish
even
you.
for us
They
men.
close because time moves forward.
There's time is also a consequence for us. Yes, we can still have kids and everything, but are we going to be healthy enough to be able to throw ball with our kids? Are we going to be able to healthy enough to play basketball, play sports, do normal things that we thought about doing with our kids at later ages? It might be more difficult. So yes, age is always a factor.
You still have time, just not as much as you were told.
What is the rate of divorce for first marriages? 50%. Essentially, an F grade. This is a damning result, which undercuts any argument for marriage.
What do you think about the boss babe phenomenon, Rachel? What do you think about that?
I think it's all a huge farce. I think it's all a mirage. It doesn't exist. I think that women thinking that they're boss babes is pie in the sky silliness. I think it's a result of 100 years of feminist propaganda, and that a lot of women really buy into it because it's in everything, right? Every pop star, every singer, every rapper, every movie star, every TV show you've watched since you were a little kid tells you that you can be an ass-kicking chick. You can take out all the bad guys in the movie, like Roundhouse kicking their ass when you're 90 pounds.
Roadhouse.
That you can, be a CEO and do all the things the men do, and it's going to work out for you the same way it works out for them, and that's just not reality. So I actually have a book I wrote about the history of feminism and how that all happened. But yeah, it's made women pretty miserable. All the surveys we've done on women since the 1970s show that they're like far unhappier by every metric we can measure than they've ever been. Higher rates of alcoholism, drug abuse, mental illness.
What were they saying? They're like the rate of alcoholism amongst women is almost on par with men. Who's depressed now?
Loneliness, childlessness. We have a birth rate collapse. Women now are saying they can't find men on their level because they'll go to college for 4 to 8 years. They'll get a degree. They'll start their career, and then they'll hit 32. They want to settle down with a guy, and they're like, well, he has to make more than me, and he has to be a foot taller than me, and he has to be all these things. But by the time you're in your mid-30s, those guys have already picked girls that are in their early 20s who are going to give them a bunch of kids and stuff like that. So women have all these expectations that are not realistic. They get out into the world as adults, things don't match up, and they're like, what's wrong? I don't understand what's happening. I don't know what's wrong. I did everything I was supposed to do. I went to college. I have a career. I look really pretty. I have all the extensions and the fake tan and the fake boobs, and I did all the things. Why are things not going how I expected? And I think it's because we tell them that they can be like men, and we're not like men, so.
I have a question.
A lot of younger ones are still delusional
They are.
because it's their prime. Wait till they hit the wall.
You want to know something that most women aren't ready to hear? Modern feminism killed chivalry.
It did.
Modern feminism has shifted from seeking equality to promoting superiority and resentment towards men, framing men as oppressors rather than partners and equals. With the birth of modern feminism, there came the birth of the girl boss, I don't need a man. Chivalry was never meant to make women look weak. It was made to create a culture of mutual respect where men acted honorably towards women and acknowledged their virtue and grace. Modern feminism, by demanding sameness instead of equality, has blurred those lines. In trying to erase gender differences, it's erased the gestures that celebrate them. The result of this is now we have an entire generation of men who are not willing to honor, pursue, or protect women. Nope. We have this entire generation of men who just want to hook up on the first date, who have no respect for women, who don't hold open the door, who don't buy flowers, and it is because of modern feminism. Yeah. Not only that, but it is also a result of weak.
I truly admit now, when I date women, I almost expect to sleep on the first date. I told you guys this when I was young. little Padawan out there, learning life. Yeah, would have never imagined sleeping with women on the first date ever, because it wasn't a thing in the early 2000s when I was dating and doing all those things. Nowadays, it is so common. Now I expect to at least sleep with majority of the women I date on the first date, because it's just how it is, or at least it leading to that.
Men. There's a reason that our grandparents have the cutest love stories where the men pursued the women and they didn't have sex until they were married and they respected and honored each other. And now we are seeing the result of the crash and burn of modern feminism. And unfortunately, it is affecting a lot of women looking for life partners and a lot of men looking for life partners. Feminism is great. The idea of feminism is great to promote equality, but it has evolved into something that is toxic and dangerous to our society.
Men stopped dating completely because of modern feminism. It completely destroyed marriages and made getting married not worth it for men.
And now,
and courts. The court system is just not friendly to men either, or at least the breadwinner.
Now, people have to have 2-income households, or single moms are barely getting by.
feminists in this situation are actually your friend, not your foe, because I too am mad about the realities of existing in a patriarchal capitalist society. But your whole thing about how, like, why did women fight for us to be able to have employment? Because now I basically have 2 jobs and nobody can afford anything, and they used to be able to afford stuff, and this whole situation sucks. Yeah, all of that. You're mad at your beef is on point. You're just mad at the wrong institution. You're mad at feminism, which just said, instead of forcing and relegating women to be in the home and work there, it's not like they weren't working, but work without pay and job protections and security, they should have the same and equal opportunities and benefits as their male counterparts. And they should be able to work free of discrimination and harassment. So anyways, that's not what created like the double burden and all the things that you're describing. Pause also. No hate to this woman though, because like I said, all her beef is on point and she's just mad at the wrong person basically. And when she said this in this tone, I was like, we could actually be friends.
I'm now expected to work, which is the most trash thing I've ever experienced in my entire life.
Honestly, yeah. And the double burden that you're...
I don't even know how she's defending all of this. Like, you agree that it's trash that you have to work, but you want to fight for women to work. That was your whole first half of the...
Describing that, like, I basically have 2 jobs now because I'm doing all this domestic labor too. Studies do show that women in heterosexual partnerships, when both parents work, she's doing upwards of 80% of the domestic labor, even when she's the breadwinner herself. So we entered the workforce, and because patriarchies have always devalued our labor and also naturalized that labor, so like she's better at it, it comes more naturally to her, women are just cleaner, all those things.
You don't like the accolade that women are cleaner? So you're mad at that accolade? What the freak,
haven't changed our expectations from a patriarchal breadwinner model. And now women are suffering from a double burden. But again, not because feminism like endorsed that. We just endorsed...
No, you created it. You didn't endorse it, but doesn't mean you didn't create it. It's called consequences of actions, you idiot.
You being able to have opportunities and choices and benefits available to you and not have things taken away from you solely based on your sex or gender.
It is fair to say that feminism failed us because it aimed to be just like men, when it should have demanded reverence and support. Its treatment of men as supreme beings to be copied, left mothering out of the equation, steered us in entirely the wrong direction.
Correct.
The internet is always oscillating between divine femininity and girl boss feminism, and they both suck. Do I have an answer? No, but let's talk about the context. I've been hitting not interested in every single How My Partner I Split Finances videos because the comments are always filled with something along the lines of, well, you're a goddess, so your man should be paying for everything. Now, of course, these comments are well-intentioned, but I always find this line of reasoning to feel oily. The idea that women deserve to be financially accommodated for by virtue of being a woman ties back to the idea that men transactionally provide labor and resource value in return for women's reproductive value. You take care of me because I am going to carry your children. That is how the dynamic has historically played out, and it's rooted in bioessentialist claims. Now, since we've kind of realized that women exist beyond being human incubators, this logic still persists with ideas of, well, I make you look good, so you should take care of me. I am a high-value woman. I am successful and beautiful, therefore I am worthy of indirect compensation. But what does that boil down to? It means you, the man, gain social capital by being in this relationship with me, therefore making you look better to your male peers. This is a very common thought process, and no matter how high-value the woman is, she is reduced to a flashy accessory. Notice how both of these thought iterations still feel dehumanizing and neglectful of the connection itself. Okay, so what's the other option? Financially free, independent girl boss. I still don't like this one, but it does promote us to a broader system of power. Instead of bioessentialism, now we're upgraded to class. So sociological background here, most systems of power are formed over economic disparity. We can very easily track systemic biases back to class and socioeconomic differences. So in the Western world, it naturally follows The way ever to climb the social totem pole is to girl boss it up, to work harder. Your humanity is proven by succeeding.
Or find a good man that bosses his way through the top.
By succeeding within the confines of a system that not only doesn't care about you, but is actively trying to make your life less fulfilling. And women are, statistically, really good at this. In practice, how liberating is this really when your freedom can only be found through maximizing your output, both through your labor value, but still also in the traditional expectations of what women should be? And side note, this idea of liberation can create a scary culture for people who are on the lower rungs of the socioeconomic ladder, because it says that yes, there is a way out, but only in a way that contributes to a larger culture that makes us all miserable, which still does suck. It's not changing the rules of power, but more so putting yourself in a position where you can now punch down instead. I'm definitely only viewing this through the capitalist realist lens, and there are definitely more abolitionist perspectives out there, though I do also wonder how we could possibly spread more intense ideologies to actually create change. Whether we realize it or not, most people are very opposed to things that question the current structure, even if they despise the current structure. This video is haphazard and I don't have an answer, so I'm sorry, but I've been thinking about this on and off for like the past year. So I want to put my thoughts all just in one place, if that makes sense. I don't know. I can't be alone in this.
It's all literally just another alt-right pipeline disguised by pseudo-feminism.
True.
Women will find fault and ramble on about literally anything. They are always the victims.
Always.
Always.
Something that women say to me all the time. Why don't you make your husband a sandwich? Okay. Is he hungry? Does he want a sandwich? Like, did he say something? I make my husband food the last 4 nights. I made my husband dinner. Like, I don't understand this weird like, they're trying to shame women for taking care of their families. Like, that is another element of feminism that I cannot stand. It's an attack on family and these things that work. It works. Right. Men are biologically unable to have children. So the aspiration to climb a ladder forever, to wake up every single day and not have to worry about being pregnant for 9 months, I mean, that makes sense. We're different creatures, you know?
I think that's like a troll though. No, it's like all you're good for is like, yo, make me something to eat.
No, that whole concept came from rabid feminists. Like there was something wrong with being in the kitchen, right?
Oh, okay.
And this was sort of this push of women get out of the home and go to work, which has made so many women miserable. And most of them when it's too late because they feel this pressure now of like, oh, well, if I don't aspire to anything other than like family, then I'm going to somehow be a failure. And so they take on these jobs that a lot of them take on jobs that, you know, they know is not going to result in some budding career. Like it's usually in fashion or textiles or something like that. When in reality, women want to be married, happily married. It's an admirable goal.
Yeah. A sandwich sounds pretty good though.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, if my husband ever wanted a sandwich, I'd make it for him.
Candice gets so much hate for just promoting a healthy lifestyle. Damn. Imagine getting dissed for the simplest of pleasures.
I fell for the boss bitch, I could do everything by myself, that hyper-independent bullshit. And I'm 31 now, and I still don't have kids. I still don't have a family. I was focused on trying to get after the bag and all this. Yo, what? I'm in a place now in my life where I'm reevaluating everything. My values, my perspectives, what I really want in the future. And what I really want is a family. I feel like social media or just everything around us, society in general, wants to push that the woman is the future. No, the family is the future.
There are so many women that are going to be in this situation because they have been lied to. And there are a lot of men out there that want to have families that have been trying to say this. They have been trying to say that they just want a woman that is loving and caring in nature. They don't care if you're a boss babe. If anything, unfortunately, it might work against you. Now, for this woman, she's come to that realization with plenty of time. I think she's going to find what she wants.
Yes and no. A lot of men now just don't really want to date women that were even past feminist or past boss babes because we don't truly know if they actually changed or not. There's a lot of chameleons out there. There's a lot of desperate women that want men that want to be taken care of. Are they really nice and soft now?
Probably has a robust friend zone she can choose an excellent partner from if she doesn't stall it any further.
I always say it, men can't do it all. Why do women think they can do it all? Like I always say, there's the three pillars, you know, a great father, a great businessman, and a great husband. You usually cannot fulfill all three. I mean, a great businessman, as in you're up there, you're climbing the corporate ladder, you're the boss. Great father, that you're always there, present every single time. Great husband, that you're there, present, emotional, and help every single time. You just can't do all of it. Right? You can't be good at all of it, at least. You could probably be good at 2 and then really fail at the other one. But women think they can do it all. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that. And catch you guys next time. Ciao.